Okay. All right, so today we're going to do a class on mindfulness, and I want us just to all start standing today. Many of you may have been sitting a lot, and I'd like to start the class today standing. This beautiful Ohio River here. What a great backdrop. These are not going to work. I can't hear. I can't hear myself. Sorry, guys. I have to take these out. My grandson helped me put those out, but he doesn't know what. All right, let's start in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Let's go ahead and get our feet about hip distance apart. Roll the shoulders up and back, palms forward. Everybody that you've all taken my class before, you know, tuck, tighten, and tall. The tailbone tucked to the mat, belly button tight to the belt, and tight to the spine, and getting tall in the crown and the spine here. Find some ease in your gaze, or close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And just begin to notice the surroundings around us, the weather, the beautiful temperature. Just notice how that feels on your skin. Notice how your body feels today. We're going to walk through class in a very mindful way today, working on mindfulness. I actually want to read this little opening statement as you just come into some stillness and some peace. Let's explore the intention of mindfulness today as we move through our practice. Even in yoga, the place where you're trying to learn and cultivate mindfulness, you can end up mindless, flowing through the poses with very little attention to how your body feels as you move. Start here in stillness, cultivating that attention, that clean movement. Breathe cleanly. Feeling your belly rise on the inhales, your lungs expand, your body enliven. As you breathe out, notice your clothes brushing against your skin, the cool breeze, the warmth of your breath on your lip, and feel the release and softening that this brings. Pay attention. We're going to move through the class today with that mindfulness in mind. And start to be a little more mindful with that breath now. Noticing the inhales as we breathe in through the nose, and exhale either through the nose or the mouth. You want to build some heat in the body. You're going to use that Ayuji breath when you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, feeling that ocean sound in the back of the throat. If you prefer a more cooling breath, you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Whatever breath is working for your body in this space today. Just making it nice and big, mindful, and present. Begin to flutter the eyes open. Feel ourselves in the space. Let's inhale as we ground through the feet and lift the hands up towards this beautiful sky. Now maybe coming up on the toes. Stretch the side body, stretch the arms, maybe challenge yourself by bringing your gaze up, and then exhale, float the heels and the arms back down. Exhale fully. Inhale, let's do that again. Really stretching up on those toes, really feeling some length in the side body, and exhale, float slowly and mindfully back down to the earth. We're going to do it one more time as we challenge ourselves as we come up on our toes. See if we can hold this space in a mindful way. And exhale, slowly return to the earth. Remember, we're going to concentrate on mindfulness in every pose. I want you to be a beginner in every single pose, even if you've done it 1,000 times. Come to a fresh mind. Let's inhale the arms up overhead, interlace the fingers, bring the hands to the back of the head, right below the base of the head, just to support the neck here. Still got that nice tuck, tight, and tall. We're going to inhale, get really tall in the spine. Exhale, we're going to fold the elbows in the chin. Rounding the upper back, but keeping the low back nice and straight and the belly tucked in. Fully exhale. Inhale, we raise the chin and the arms back up. Open them nice and wide, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Breathe in and out. Maybe take your eyes up to this beautiful clouds and open the elbows just a little further. Tiny little back bend here. Some softness in the knees. Breathe in fully. Exhale, fold and tuck the chin and the elbows together. Inhale, go again, open. Follow your breath, your pace, your depth, your pose. And meet back, release the arms here. Great job, everybody. Let's take a cleansing breath. Inhale, root down to rise up. Big inhale, large. Exhale fully. Let's get into the neck here. Find your Tadasana, find your tuck, tighten, and tall. Breathe in. Exhale, press those fingers towards the mat, reaching the fingers towards the mat here. Tailbones tucked. We're going to inhale. Exhale, we're going to take the right ear in the direction of the right shoulder blade here. Try to extend the neck, though, don't collapse it. Keep the shoulders soft away from the knees. Fingers are pressing down towards the mat. Now check in here. If you feel any tingling or numbness in your fingers, then I'd like you to bring your hands up to your waist. But otherwise, we're extending. Just noticing what we feel. If you feel like you need a little more stretch, take the left hand around behind you and grab a hold of the right wrist. And inhale, exhale, pulling the wrist just gently down towards the mat here. Just extending, but make sure you're not arching when you do that. Tuck that tail. Now let's see if we can change the sensation by changing the direction a little bit. Let's tuck the chin and bring the chin over towards the collarbone. Just changing the angle. And notice mindfully what that brings up. What does that change? How is that changing the sensation by changing the angle? So release the arms if you have them clasped. Bring the chin back up. Come back to center. Root down to rise up. And exhale fully. We'll go to the other side. Fresh side, new beginning. Inhale. Exhale, press those fingers towards the mat. As we get tall in the spine. Inhale, exhale, left ear in the direction of the left shoulder. Again, check in with those fingers, make sure there's no numbness. And if you want it a little more, you can reach around and grab hold of the wrist. Just gentle stretch with the arms here. Tucking the tail, keeping the belly button nice and tight. Thinking extension in the neck. Don't forget to breathe. Explore changing the angle, bringing our chin in the direction of the collarbone. Does that bring up on this side of the body as opposed to the other side? So change that sensation any. Keep breathing. And release the arms, bring the chin back up, and let's do another cleansing breath. Exhale. All right. All of you that have been in my class know I want to do a balancing pose. So today we're going to do tree, but I want you to pretend like you have never done tree before. You don't know what it is. We're going to walk through it step by step, really mindfully, because you know, I tell you tree and you're doing this. Let's break it down, really mindful today, okay? And see what you find by doing that. Just find our Tadasana, bring those toes, spread them nice and wide, set them back down and find that space between the heels and the toes where you have that equilibrium. You're not leaning forward, you're not falling back. Tuck, tighten, and tall. We get our balance mostly from our core. So get that core nice and tight, get nice and tall. Roll the shoulders away from our ears. Take a breath. Let's go stage by stage. Find something to focus on. Find a leaf or a twig or something a few feet away from you, something stationary that's not going to move. And let's shift our weight to our left foot. Just kickstand the right foot so the heel is right above the ankle here. Fingers are open wide. Pulling that belly button in, we've got our focus point. Now this is a really beautiful version of tree right here. Stay here, or you can explore bringing the right foot up to the left calf, or maybe the thigh, but stay away from the knee. Now another good point to balance is you press the leg and the thigh or the calf into the foot and the foot into the thigh or calf as you pull the belly button in. That makes you really stable. Find that stability first, and then you can explore growing the limbs of your tree. Maybe bringing your arms up. Make sure you count a nice straight back. Focus, pull that belly button in. It's okay to wobble. That's your body trying to stabilize. It actually is strengthening your joints. So that's a good thing. Focus. You'll find if you press that foot and leg together, that really helps with balance. When you're ready, just release the foot. Just float the arms back down. Great. Feels a little different when you break it down, doesn't it? It really helps with balance. And we're going to go to the other side, but before we do, let's do palm tree. Let's root down, rise up. Interlace the fingers, flip the hands upside down, and really stretch the arm, the shoulders, the side body. Pull that belly button in, tuck that tail. If this bothers your shoulders, just bring your arms out wider here. Yeah. You don't have to clasp them if that's bothering your shoulders. Breathe and stretch. Inhale, exhale, release the arms. Now we're going to go to the other side, mindfully, brand new pose, beginner's mind. Spine or Tadasana, tuck, tighten, and tall. Get those feet nice and wide, put those toes back down. Find your balance, find something to focus on. I'm not going to focus on that cigarette butt because that's gross. Find something else. Get that nice tight core. Shift your weight to the right foot. Kickstand the left foot. Make sure you got your focus and your tight core first before you go anywhere else. Let's take a breath together. Exhale, and then you can explore, bringing your foot up to the calf or the thigh on this side, pulling the knee out, your hips facing forward. I'm going to stay low because I'm talking. Pushing that foot into the leg and the leg into the foot as we pull the belly button in. Focus on that point in front of you. It's not moving. And breathe. Don't hold your breath. Yeah. Now you can grow the limbs of your tree if you want. And remember, just like trees in a forest, none of us are going to look alike. Our bodies are not the same. We're all going to look different, and that's okay. You can look like me and wobble. You can stay strong trunk. They're all beautiful trees. Challenge yourself. Come in and out as you need to. And then release when you're ready. Yeah, good job. Shake that down, everybody. How many of you came to my class when I did the breakdown to tree class? When we did the buildup of all those? We had, by the end, we didn't do just this, but we did a whole buildup of tree and balance poses. And by the end, people that said they couldn't balance before were doing it. So if you break it down, you can find balance. All right, good job. That was really great, everybody. Okay, so we're going to find our Tadasana again. Shake your hands out a little bit. Shake your legs out. Let's just break up all that energy here, patterns. Breathe. Let's do our cleansing breath first. And exhale. Find our Tadasana. Get that nice strong core. Put our hands on our thighs here. Pull our belly button in. Little softness to the knees. We're going to inhale. On exhale, we're going to slide, pulling the belly button in, slide our hands down our legs till we get our head below our heart. And you may need to bend your knees quite a bit till you find your head as if there's a light, a flashlight on the top of your head facing the ground. Flash that light right between your toes. That may mean your knees are bent a lot. Your chest is moving towards your thigh. Breathe. This is an inversion. We want to get the head below the heart. Any stretch to the hips and the back of the legs is secondary, so it's okay if your knees are bent. Keep breathing. Pull that belly button in, and then very carefully as we start to straighten our legs, slide our hands up mindfully and slowly all the way to our thighs until we reach a nice flat back. Our crown of our head and our tailbone pulling away from each other. Now our legs should be pretty straight at this point. If that works for you, pull that belly button in. Exhale, begin to slide those hands all the way down again. Slowly and mindfully until we find that flashlight in between our toes. And just hang. Maybe you bring your hands up and grab the other elbow and just let that head hang there. Reversing the blood flow here. Breathe. Breathe big. When you're ready, let's put our hands back on our legs and slowly and mindfully just slide them all the way up to our thighs, coming to that nice flat back. Thinking of extension between the tailbone and the crown of the head. Our legs are fairly straight at this point. I want you to visualize space between each vertebrae. Can you actively try to make space in that vertebrae here? Before we exhale and slide down one last time. This time let's shake our head, yes. Shake our head, no. Just loosen up all that tension in that neck. We carry around this 14-pound like bowling ball. Our average head weighs 14 pounds. We're carrying it around all day. Let it hang. Let it add some traction here into that neck. When you're ready, let's breathe and bring our hands back up to our thighs. Take a big breath in and out, and slowly with the belly button, pull all the way back up to standing here. Head towards the sky. Great job, everybody. It's a little different when we go slow. It changes things. So we're going to stay in this pose for just a second here. Pull that belly button in. We've still got our nice tight Tadasana. We're going to inhale the arms overhead. Exhale with the belly button pull. We're gonna swan dive down, bringing our fingertips to the ground. Again, your knees can be bent here. Take a breath, and then I want you to walk your right fingertips over in front of your left toes. So we're crossing the hand over. I want you to straighten the left foot as you bend the knee to the right foot. So we're offset here. And then carefully float the left arm in a slight twist up to the sky here. This is gonna be an intense stretch for those IT bands. Yeah, feel that? Go slow. Breathe. Pretty intense, huh? If you need a little more intensity, then straighten the legs a little more. Exhale, float the arm back down. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale, release. Then inhale, let's walk the left hand over in front of the right toes. Straighten the right foot, bend the knee on the left foot. Take a breath. And float the right arm up towards the sky in a gentle twist here. Feel that stretch in the IT band going down the right side of that leg. Breathe. Be careful not to hold your breath. Take a couple deep breaths and feel the stretch. And when you're ready, exhale fully and float the arm back down. Pull that belly button in and roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time, bringing your shoulders and head up last. And let it go. Ooh, that's a nice stretch for that IT band, isn't it? Now we're gonna get down on the mat. That's why I thought, does everybody have something for their knees? We're gonna be on our knees. I brought a few extras. A thick pad here. If someone wants this thicker pad, you can throw it over your mat because we are gonna be on our knees a little bit. So let's make our way down to our hands and knees. You're welcome to use that pad if anybody wants to, that thicker pad. So we're gonna find our tabletop position. I've been trying to keep you in classes off of your knees, but there's really a couple poses I just feel like we kind of need to get on our hands and knees to do. So let's bring our knees underneath our hips, about hip distance apart. We want our wrists and elbows underneath our shoulders, fingers nice and wide, a little micro grip on the mat here. That micro grip helps protect those wrists, engages those muscles around the wrist. Now, if you've noticed, I want you to check in here. If you feel anything coming from those wrists, anything more than a mild sensation, then I want you to come up on your fist to take any of that strain off your wrist here. So whether you're on your fist or your fingers with the micro grip, the belly button pulls to the spine. We're going to extend the crown of the head away from the tailbone. We're going to breathe in. Exhale, we're going to tuck the chin, roll the shoulders nice and wide, and tuck the hips forward here into our calf stretch. Press the hips forward, separate the shoulders. Breathe in and out. Exhale, let's come back to the flat back. Extend and find extension between the crown and the tail. And breathe, pull the belly button in. I purposely don't like to teach cow, which if you want cow, you can take cow. I always want to add space. The way I was taught in my type of yoga was to add space in the spine at all times. So I'm trying to add space here instead of collapsing the spine. So we're going to inhale, exhale, press those hips forward, tuck that chin, round those shoulders. Really stretching up, pulling those shoulder blades apart. Breathe in and out. Big cat stretch, and exhale back to the flat back, finding that extension. One more round on your own. Just following your breath, carrying the breath with you, the timing of the breath to the movements. Do a couple rounds. Remember, as you do movements, every breath has your attention here. Bring attention into everything, even your fingertips. Feel this pose into every smallest extremity here. Inhale and exhale. We'll meet back in that flat back here. We're going to take our knees as wide as the mat, bring our big toes together. Inhale, exhale, press our hips back towards our heels as we stretch our arms forward and our head moves in the direction of the mat. Or you can put your towel there if your head doesn't reach. It's not important that your hips reach your heels. It's not important that your head reaches the mat. Just that you find your breath and you find some stretch and find some ease in the posture here. As we pause and bring our attention to the breath. During pauses, come back to the breath here. Let every breath count. Resting in stillness again. Let your attention come fully to how your body feels. Mindfully. You breathe in and you breathe out. couple more breaths. It is a form of meditation when you try to train yourself to focus on your breath time and time again, carrying your attention back to that breath without judgment. Take one more big breath, and then inhale, press yourself back up into your tabletop position slowly and mindfully. On your hands and knees here. We're going to walk our legs behind us long as we lower down onto our stomach here. Resting those both hip bones, try to balance your weight between each side of your hip bones here. Come up on your toes behind you here. Bring up on your toes, and then as you do that, walk them back a little forward, like you're trying to pull the hips back. Add nice length to the legs, and then untuck them and lay them down. So now they're nice and long here. I want you to bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, your fingers nice and wide and spread on the mat. You bring your head down to the mat here. Take a breath first. Get your breath. And I want you to take your fingers and elbows and as if you're trying to pull them back. You pull the mat back. As we inhale, pressing through the hips and toes and bringing our crown of our head facing forward to our Sphinx pose here. I was just telling somebody the other day, I don't teach this very often because people want to yank their back up. I want your crown of your head facing forward. And you're pulling those fingers and elbows back towards you as you sink those hips. Breathe, find the breath. Thinking of a length between the tailbone and the crown of the head there. Think of that extension here, not the curve. Take a couple breaths in and out. Big breaths. And exhale, lower the head back to the mat. Stretch your arms out long in front of you. Sink the hips. Take the breath. Find the stillness first. Breathe in. Bring the feet closer together. Take a breath. Inhale, bring the feet up off of the ground. Just the feet here. Just those feet and legs. Keeping your legs straight. There you go. Breathe in. Now if you want to add the arms, you can lift the arms up into Superman or Superwoman, as the case may be. Stretching the fingertips and the toes away from each other. Grounding through the hips. Your gaze is down. Breathe in. Nice, strong Superwomen here and men. Take the breath. When you're ready, lower the hands and feet all the way back down. Take another inhale and another exhale here. Put your hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself back up to your hands and knees. Going nice and slow here. Breathing in and out. Keeping your hips over your knees, hips over your knees this time. Pull the belly button in. I want you to walk your hands to the front of the mat. Keeping your hips up though. Your hips are lined up over your knees here. Breathe in. On the exhale, I want you to sink. You may have to stretch your arms in before. Just try to sink your heart down to the mat and your head's moving in the direction of the mat in this puppy dog stretch. Yeah. Keep your hips up though. Inhale, exhale, sink in the heart and the head between the arms here. There you go. So this is not a child's pose. This is puppy dog pose. We're really getting into that stretch. As you inhale, you soften in the pose, a little release. And as you exhale, you bring your heart a little closer to the mat. Really sinking between those shoulders. Carrying the breath with you. As you soften and then sink on the exhales. Breathe a couple rounds of breath here. And when you're ready, just press your hands back up to our tabletop position here. Check in with your knees here. If you don't have something under your knees, you can also take the sides of your mat and just roll them in a little bit like this. Give you a little extra padding. We're going to come back to our hands and knees here. Check in. Make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips, your belly button's pulled in. Find that extended spine. Now I want you to take your left hand and turn it in 1/4 turn towards the inside of your mat here. And the reason I do this is it actually opens up that shoulder and it gives you a much more effective, safer positioning for this pose. So pull that belly button in, inhale the right arm up to the sky, opening up the side of the chest. Exhale, thread that arm underneath the left, bringing your head and shoulder into the direction of your mat. If it doesn't reach, you can lay it on your towel or your blanket if you have a towel or something. And then find some softness in this pose, in this needle, thread the needle pose. Let your body do the work. Maybe close your eyes and tune in to where you're feeling it. And those of you that feel like you need a little more opening, you can take the left hand and bring it around the low back and find the bind if that is in your practice. Not forcing that though. Find the variation of the pose that works for your body. And then can we find some softness in the pose? Is there any place we can find a little more ease, where we're not holding on so tight? And then we'll find some stillness as you bring your attention to your breath. Coming back to the breath. A couple rounds of breath here as we allow this body to really open up and release. Now, if you feel agitated in the pose, or certainly if you feel any pain or discomfort, then come out. That's a stronger practice, to listen to your body. When you're ready, let's all take one more big inhale. Exhale, let's lift that arm all the way back up to the sky. Breathe in and bring it back to the mat on the exhale, back to our tabletop. So we're back at our tabletop. Check your form here. Pull that belly button in. This time we're going to take the right hand, 1/4 turn in. Inhale, the left arm up to the sky. And exhale, going mindfully, slowly. Let's thread the arm, bringing our head and shoulders in the direction of our mat on this side. Knowing it may not go to the exact same place, and that's okay. Maybe checking in with the breath. Your mind has started to, some chatter. Just let it go. Let those thoughts float on by. As you find your place in the posture, if you want to take the bind and that's in your practice, please feel free. That doesn't bother your shoulder. Can we relax that jaw a little bit? How about those shoulders? Can we find a little more ease in the shoulders there, even though we're twisted up here? And the hips. Find some stillness. When you're ready, let's take another big breath and slowly unwind, bringing that arm back up to the sky. Nice counter stretch. Lift up on your hands. Stretch it back up and release it back to our tabletop position here. Let's tuck those back toes. Take a big breath in, and then on the exhale, let's take the knees off the mat, coming up in an upside down V, taking our gaze behind us in our first downward dog here. Maybe pedaling it out. Our heels are moving into the direction of the mat. We're pressing the mat away from us with our hands, pushing those hips up and back. And breathe. Find whatever organic movement works for you. Maybe take both heels over to the right and press them down. Maybe lift them back up and coming over to the left. And then back to center. Inhale, come up on the toes. Exhale, the heels move in the direction of the mat. Our head, our gaze is behind us, our shoulders are by our ears. Breathe. Inhale, let's come up on those toes and bend those knees. Just hover over the mat just a little. Exhale, straighten the legs, gaze goes behind you. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, we're going to bring the knees down. Exhale, stretch the legs straight, pressing the heels back. Let's do one more round. Inhale, hover. Exhale, straighten. Now when you're down dog, put your weight in your left foot. Take a big inhale. Exhale, let's float the right foot up in our three-legged dog. Our hips are facing forward, our gaze is still behind us here. Breathe. Coming up on those toes, and then curl the knee in and your chin in a nice tiger curl together. Breathe out. Inhale, bringing it back up to three-legged dog. Exhale, we tiger curl in. I'm going to come out so I can talk to you. A couple more rounds, just follow your breath. Inhale is on to extend. Exhale as we curl. Do one more round and let's meet back in our three-legged dog. Coming back to the three-legged dog. Come up on those back toes. Come up on the fingertips on your right hand to add some space. And exhale, bring that foot in between your hands. There we go. Hands on either side of the foot. Drop the back knee, untuck the toe, and slide off that kneecap behind us. So just slide off that kneecap. There you go. Breathe in. Bring the hands up to the thighs. First, take a breath. Get your balance, and then inhale. If you'd like to bring your arms up by your ears, if that bothers your shoulders, put them back on your thigh. Inhale, exhale, sink the hips a little lower in this nice low lunge here. This is where I'd like you to have something under your knees. Breathe. And a couple breaths. Exhale, bring the hands down to each side of the mat. I'm going to take the right hand on the inside of the right foot. We're going to take the left hand and we're going to extend it up and lift the knee off the ground here. Pretending there's a wall and both shoulder blades are going to touch the wall behind us in this revolve lunge here. You can drop the heel if you like, if that feels better for your body. And breathe. Keep breathing. Your gaze can be down if that helps your neck better. And take a couple breaths. Release the left hand down. Walk the hands to on either side of the foot. Come up on the back toes. Extend the right foot back, find your downward dog. Pedal it out. We're going to go to the other side here. We're going to put our weight into our right foot. Inhale the left leg up to our three-legged dog. Exhale, we tiger curl here. Inhale, we extend. Exhale, we tiger curl. Continue for a couple more rounds following your breath. If that's not working for you, then come back to your downward dog. Come back to the breath. We'll do one more round and then we'll meet back in our three-legged dog. Come up on those back toes. Tent the fingers on the left hand to give you a little more space. Inhale, exhale. Bring the foot in. Even if you might need to use your hand. Your knee lined up over the ankle. And drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. Slide off that kneecap. Inhale the hands to the thigh. Take a breath here. Maybe raise the hands, elbows by ears. Exhale, sink those hips a little lower. If that bothers your arms, bothers your shoulders, please bring your hands back to your thighs. We're being mindful, we're listening to our bodies, what they tell us today. Keep breathing. Place the left hand by left foot. Right arm, inhale it up. Tuck the toes. Lift the knee. Find a revolved lunge here. Again, if it's easier for you to drop the heel, drop the heel. That's perfectly fine. Trying to put both of those shoulder blades on that back wall. Find your breath. Put your head in a position that doesn't bother your neck. Beautiful, beautiful, guys. When you're ready, release the hand back down. This time walk your hands on either side and step back into our high plank here. We want our shoulders over our wrists, pulling our heels back and our crown forward. Option to drop the knees, that works better for you. Take 3 breaths. Whether your knees are up or down, it doesn't matter. Pull that belly button in and then press back up into your downward dog. Pedal it out. Get that breath back. Breathe. Let's float the right leg up. Inhale, exhale, bring the knee in between the hands in the front of you. All the way up between your hands here. Untuck the back toes. Extend that back leg long. Breathe in. Let's sink that right hip. You guys know me. I want your hip glued to the mat. Be mindful. I know some of you don't like to, this is not the way you were taught. It's my class, I'm going to ask you to do it my way. So, I purposely teach it this way on purpose. It's not that I don't know how to do pigeon. Unless you've been practicing like Cindy, someone that's been practicing a really long time, and you've got your form perfect, you are putting a lot of tension on that kneecap. So this is just a safer, more effective way to do it. It also allows your body weight to get in there and give you a deep stretch, a deeper stretch than being up, but it takes all that strain off that knee. So it's a win-win. There's no reason not to do it this way. Inhale, press out that crown of the head up to the sky. Remember our goal today, mindfulness. Exhale, slowly start to bring your torso forward. Going slow. Listen, feel what your body feels. Maybe coming down on your forearms. Stop there and pause. How does this feel? Then going to maybe, if you still need more, go to cross arms. Pause. And then if you still feel like you need more, then you can bring your head down to the mat. Find your place in the pose. Our sleeping swan. As you breathe and soften. We'll stay in this pose a little longer because it takes longer for these big muscle groups to release and relax. So if there's any place in your body you can find some more stillness, try to breathe and think of that and try to soften that part of your body. Excuse me. I'll let you sit in the pose as you concentrate on your breath. Softening the shoulders, softening the hips. Can you soften even the fingertips? The jaw. Maybe open the jaw, mouth, and close it, just to make sure you're not holding any tension there in that jaw. Can you feel the breath moving in and out of your body? If you really tune in mindfully, you may actually start to feel the hip release a little bit. Stay here for about 2 more rounds of breath. Make them count, make them big. I'll take 1 more breath. Take your hands back underneath your shoulders. Start to lift your torso mindfully and slowly. Pressing, tucking the back toes, pressing into the hands, coming back to our downward dog, pressing our hips up and back. Inhale. Exhale, we sink the hips. Take your weight into your right foot, left leg comes up on the inhale. Exhale, we bring the right knee in between our hands. Going slowly and mindfully. This is a new side, this is a new pose. Come off those toes, extend that leg back, and then glue that hip to the mat. Now you're gonna feel a little off center, that's okay. Breathe in and press that crown of the head up to the sky. Find that extension first, pull that belly button in. Let's explore where we go on this side, nice and slow, as we exhale. Take our time. Do it in stages. You may find that this side of the body is a lot different than the other. This is definitely my tighter side. I'm not gonna go to the same depth, and that's okay. I'm gonna listen to my body. Find some stillness, find some ease. Find your breath. Can we soften those shoulders a little bit? Maybe that little space right between your eyes. Soften there. Make your breath big. Fill up that body with that big, beautiful breath. Big yogic breath. So I'll take another big inhale. Fill up the back, fill up the chest, fill up the abdomen. Feel that chest expand. Exhale, press our hands alongside of our shoulders. Inhale, and we're gonna come up and we're gonna bring the back leg around this time. Find ourselves in a comfortable cross-legged position. Take a drink of water, take a breath. This is called easy seat in yoga, and many of you, for this is not all that easy. So check in with your knees here. You feel some tugging or something coming from those knees. I know we don't have blocks today. Normally I would tell you to support them with blocks, but since we don't have blocks, if you feel that, I want you to find another position, whether it's bringing your feet to the bound angle or your legs in front of. Don't let tension pull on those knees. Don't put strain on those knees. But if the easy seat's working for you, I want you to reach around and grab that flesh and really sink those sit bones here. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, feel that weight on each sit bone equally there. Pull that belly button in, tail still pulling down, crown still pulling up. Your hands are on our knees here, and just take a breath. Feeling the extended spine first. If your eyes are closed, you might want to flutter them open. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale them out to a nice wide T. Breathe. Inhale, we're going to cross the right arm at the elbow over the left and bring our hands to rest on our shoulders here, like we're giving ourselves a hug. Nice tall spine here. Inhale, tuck the chin and lower the elbows. Now, if you have shoulder issues, this might be where you want to stay. If you're wanting a bigger stretch and your shoulders are not bothering you in this position, let's lift that chin and elbows back up. Straighten the arms in front of us with our right arm still crossed. Bend the elbows, and you can bring the back of the hands together, or you can find palms and eagle arms here, whichever position works for you. Breathe in, get nice and tall in that spine, pull that belly button in. Inhale, press the elbows away from you and slightly up. So we're pushing towards me and slightly up. And on the exhale, we're going to lower the chin to the chest and begin to slowly lower the elbows mindfully in the direction of our chest. Keeping the low back nice and straight though. We're only curving the upper back here. Adding some separation into that back, upper back and shoulder area. Sometimes it's easy to want to hold your breath when you're all crunched up, but make sure you're not doing that. Remind yourself to breathe big. Feel that expansive breath. Couple more breaths here as we open up those shoulders and those arms. Inhale, let's lift the elbows and the chins back up. Chin, I said chins. I meant each of you one chin. Inhale, exhale, let's have a nice counter stretch. Maybe I meant mine. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I meant that. And release the hands back down to the knees. We're going to go to the other side. Let's do this mindfully. You've never done this pose before. Not today, not on this side of your body, not on this day. Breathe in and get that tall spine. Bring the arms back out nice and wide. Give a nice stretch. This time we're going to cross the left arm over the right at the elbows and reach around and hug ourselves and tuck our chin as we lower the elbows. Again, feel free to stay here, or we're going to lift that chin and elbows back up, unwind the arms straight out in front of us, bend the elbows again, bring the back of the hands or the palms together. Maybe different on this side. Yeah. Breathe in, pull that belly button in first, extend those elbows up and then slightly away from you. So you feel that separation in that shoulders, and then we exhale as we tuck our chin and begin the slow progression of lowering the elbows while keeping the low back nice and straight. Not curving the lumbar spine, we're just getting up into that thoracic and cervical spine here. Breathe. Bring your breath with you. Maybe close your eyes and noticing where you're feeling it here. Maybe your body's trying to tell you something. If it feels different from one side or the other, maybe there's some imbalances that we need to address. Take a couple breaths here. When you're ready, lift the chin and elbows back up and release the arms nice, wide, big counter stretch here. Big inhale. Exhale, float the arms back down here. We're going to bend our knees, bring the soles of our feet to the mat, tuck our bottom a little closer to our heels, and roll ourselves all the way down to our back. Sinking our shoulders. I'm going to come up, so I'm going to talk to you. Bring your feet together. Allow your knees to just open wide like a butterfly, just like gravity open the soles of your feet together. If that bothers your knees, please bring your knees back up together and have your knees touch and bring your feet out wider than your mat in constructive rest. But otherwise, we're going to soften the upper body completely. I want you to think your upper body's like a noodle. It has no muscle to it at all. It's just melting. And we're going to let gravity open the groin and the hips here. Maybe you want to put your hands on your belly so you can feel the breath moving in and out of your body. Or maybe one hand on your belly, one hand over your heart. So close the eyes. Someone said when they came into class today, it smells so wonderful here. Notice that. Notice the smell of the nature here, the river, the trees. Use that sense. So we allow gravity to do all the work here. Completely passive here. Feel like you've got too much tugging on there, please bring your knees back together. Take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, reach your hands on each side of your knee and use your hands to help assist you press those knees all the way back up. Soles of the feet on the mat. Tuck the knees into your chest to give yourself a little hug. Breathe in. As you exhale, pull the knees a little closer to the chest. Inhale, release the tension here. And on the exhales, we pull the knees a little closer to the chest. So as we follow the breath, we inhale, we release the knees. We exhale, we pull them closer. When you're ready here, holding on to both knees, shift your hips over to the left side of your mat. And then roll over to your right side. Both knees stacked. Arms, head on the mat here. So we're just rolling over to like our fetal position here. All the way over the arms. And I want you to reach around with your left your bottom hand and put it on top of your knees to pin them down. Bottom hand pins the knees down. Hand on the knees just to pin them down. Top arm, we take a big inhale, raise the arm up to the sky, and then slowly let it float behind us, going mindfully, stopping where our body tells us to stop. Now, if you feel any tension pulling from that shoulder, too much tugging, you can pull that arm a little closer to your body, and that will help relieve that strain. If it still feels like too much strain, then take that hand and put it on your hip. Breathe. Your gaze can be up to the sky, or you can try to bring the gaze over to the extended arm. It's more important that your knees are pinned here than it is that your arm is on the ground. So if your knees are up in the air, pin them down, even if that means your arm comes back up. So we twist, adding some flexibility to the spine, some opening in the shoulders, some massage to those internal organs. When you're ready, take a couple breaths and slowly float that arm back up toward the sky on the inhale, and the exhale, bring it all the way back over to your back in your fetal position. Putting your hands on your knees, bringing one knee up at a time, rolling onto your back. Give yourself a hug before we go to the other side. Remind yourself that we're being mindful. Take a big inhale, exhale, make your way all the way over onto your other side, shifting your hips to the other side of your mat a little to give yourself some room. Stop here and pin the knees down with your bottom arm. Take a breath in, reach that arm up to the sky, and then slowly explore where we go on this side. Taking our time, listening to our body, keeping our knees pinned. Listening if our shoulder tells us it needs to come back up. Yeah, and bring it back up. We find a gentle twist to the body. Some stillness in the pose. And we take a couple breaths here to soften. When you're ready, let's inhale and bring that arm back up to the sky. Slowly bring it back over. And then make your way onto your back, bringing up one knee at a time. Take your hands behind your knees, your back still on the mat. One hand behind each knee. Pull your knees in, one knee into each shoulder. So your knees are wide, your knees are pulling down your shoulder, your hands, one hand behind each knee. And then lift the soles of the feet up to the sky here. And you can stay here, pulling the knees toward the shoulders, or you can reach up and grab your inner foot or your toes for your happy baby. But our goal is to pull the knees in the direction of our shoulders and use the weight of our hands to pull those knees down. As we maybe start to rock our baby, kind of massage that low back a little bit. Yeah, gentle rock. And slowing it down if you feel a tight spot that needs a little more love, a little more massage. Then I want you to take your time and extend your legs long in front of you, releasing the hands and the legs. Allow your legs to meet the mat long in front of you. Allow the legs to splay open. I want you to inhale and reach your arms overhead. Make fists with your hands, and I want you to inhale really big, squeezing the fist, tension your face, tensing every muscle in your body. Really squeeze everything nice and tight. And exhale audibly, let it all go. Release it. Find a comfortable position for our final posture, Shavasana. Maybe that means your knees are bent if you need to release your low back. Otherwise, if your feet are out, add some space between your feet. Maybe your arms are out away from your body or on your belly. We sink our ears away from our shoulders. We find some softness and slowly close the eyes. We find some stillness and heaviness. We're no longer trying to control that breath. We're no longer trying to pull that belly in. We're just finding some softness and some stillness here. I want you to just, if thoughts start to float in your mind, just treat them like clouds in this beautiful sky. Just let them float by. Don't engage them. I'm going to play this ancient singing bowl. And I encourage you to just focus on the sounds that it makes. and see if you can sense the vibrations that it brings. Start to bring a little bit of awareness back to the space that we're in, the sounds, the smells, the feel. Maybe let's start wiggling, little wiggles of the toes, maybe little wiggles of the fingers, maybe a little gentle rock of the neck from side to side. Inhale, maybe a gentle stretch and pull those knees in to give us a nice hug. And find your way over to one side or the other with your knees bent and your eyes still closed. Taking just a moment here before we mindfully press up to a seated position. Encourage you, invite you to keep your eyes closed for just another moment. To find a seated position, inhale the arms up. Exhale the hands to our heart center with our eyes closed. In closing, just as if you've cultivated mindfulness and presence in this practice today, take this clarity, this cleanliness with you as you move off your mat. Stay aware, stay awake. Even as you walk to your car, be aware. Even as you drive your routine route home, try to be mindful. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. The light in me honors and recognizes the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all. I so enjoy working out outside, doing our practice outside. Isn't this nice? What a beautiful weather. Wow, couldn't be better. Oh, let me turn this off.